All right, today we are watching a program called The Purple Martin Story. I'll say that again for you. The Purple Martin Story. I guess you already read it because you clicked on this video, but I wasn't quite sure when I read it the first time either. So yes, The Purple Martin Story by the Grigsville Wild Bird Society. That's an interesting credit. We've definitely never watched something from them before, and this is from the 1960s. It doesn't say what year exactly, but that should give us a general understanding. I, like you guys, have no idea what purple martins are, so let's just dive in, shall we? I'm pretty sure this should be a green. I don't quite know. It's always a guessing game with these, but I'm pretty sure this belongs in the green category, even though the purple is throwing me off a little. Okay, yeah, there you go. The Purple Martin Story. We are learning the Purple Martin Story today, guys. If any of you already know the Purple Martin Story, please don't spoil it because I need everyone watching to be here for the first time with me. Filmed at Grigsville, Illinois, the Purple Martin capital of the world. See, now I'm getting really curious. What are purple martins? I'm picturing like flowers, like a purple martin. I don't know. Maybe that's because my mom's last name is Martin, but like the Purple Martin capital of the world. I'm thinking flowers. I don't know. This is so weird. I love this music though. This is like my favorite sort of old-timey music. It's just like the happy, cheery, like string music. I don't know how else to describe it, but like this is my core right here. Narrated by Rex Davis. Why do I feel like I recognize that name? I don't know, but have I seen this name before? I don't think so. It's very unlikely that I recognize a name from the Grigsville Bird Society. All right, and already I feel like Purple Martin is going to be a bird. Now that the first shot of it is a bird, I feel like it's a bird already. Like a marling, is that a bird or is that a fish? I feel like Purple Martin's a bird now.
The happy sounds you hear are those of man's best summer friend.
Man's best summer friend? Do we have a different best friend in the summer than all the rest of the seasons? That's funny. Dogs are our best friends for fall, winter, and spring. But summer comes around, birds are our best friend all of a sudden, I guess. Oh no, not even birds. Birds song.
The Purple Martin. Every spring and summer day from early April to mid-August, these friendly birds converge on this west central Illinois town.
Huh, so a purple martin is a type of bird, presumably the one that we're watching right here. And every year they migrate to this one spot. That's interesting. What is it about this one town? Why naturally, why are they attracted to this one area? I hope maybe we'll learn, but I'm very curious now all of a sudden.
Just a few scouts.
I was actually not very interested in this like 5 seconds ago, but now that I learned this is about birds, this is a lot more interesting to me.
First, a few scouts. Then the more hardy and venturesome adult birds.
Dude, what was that? That's like a birdhouse tower? Oh, it's for the birds. That's crazy. So like, wow. So this is like a sort of birdhouse construction for the Purple Martins, presumably, because they come to this one town. Dang, this is such a weird thing. I really want to learn more about this. Like where do they come from? Like what do they even look like? I want to see an up-close shot of a Purple Martin so bad now.
Hardy and venturesome adult birds arrive. And finally, hundreds of these blue-black feathered visitors come to spend their summer in Grigsville, Illinois. They have winged their way northward from the Amazon Valley of Brazil.
Wow, okay, so they are from the Amazon rainforest. They migrate to one specific town in Illinois. I wonder why. I hope they explain that to us, but I already have a suspicion that they won't, but I'm so curious. Wow, I've never heard of these before.
And here in Grigsville, they will build their nests.
Is it literally just Grigsville, Illinois? Like, why is there no other mention of these birds being anywhere else in America? Like, what is it about this one spot that they are attracted to? Like, what? I wish I knew. This is a crazy bird tower, by the way. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen a structure like this. This is like, this is so funny, really. I guess it makes sense if like a whole bird species migrates to this one town, but it's so bizarre. Like, I really hope you guys appreciate this tower of birdhouses that they built right here. Maybe this will be the thumbnail.
Raise their young, and help this community rid itself of what was once a very annoying and costly problem.
A very annoying and costly problem. See, again, like, it's just man versus nature out here. It's such a shame to hear how they internalized nature in their own minds back then. That nature was just like this annoying obstacle for everyone, whereas I prefer to think it's not like that. But maybe people nowadays still do think like that. I don't know. I don't. Dang, are there any people watching from Griggsville, Illinois? Probably, right? Maybe through like search results or something you found this video, but like, does this tower still stand in the middle of Griggsville, Illinois? Like, is this in the town center? I'm so curious now. What a bizarre thing for one town to have. Like, look at this tower. Like, who even came up with building this tall ass birdhouse tower? Like, wow, it's so wild.
Pike County, Illinois is a typical farming community. The land abounds with fields of grazing cattle and sheep. In this...
Dude, this is what Illinois looked like back in the 60s. That's about right, just empty fields. I guess that's still what Illinois looks like.
Free-rolling land, horticulture is a big business. Pike County produces some of the sweetest fruit in the nation.
Just the way he said that, I don't know why, but it's like he was telling us a secret or something.
This community has always had a love for all birds. Here, for instance, is the largest cardinal feeding station in the world.
This is getting a little crazy now. This is a little much, is what I would say. I love cardinals. There's a window right here, and I look out at every day at the cardinals. But putting 100 or thousands of little cardinal feeding dishes just in the flat, empty park is like such a bizarre, like human American behavior. Like no other person from any other country would do something like this. This is a purely American dumb activity here.
The Griggsville Cardinal Feeding Center.
What the heck even are these? Like, are these plates on the ground? Are they... I can't even tell because it looks like they're walking between them. The largest cardinal feeding place in the world, and it's just an empty grass field. Like, I love it. I love this Americanism for us.
The Griggsville community's love for...
I didn't even see a cardinal there. The world's biggest cardinal feeding spot, and not a cardinal to be seen. What a big surprise. It's just so ironic that they're trying to feed these birds in an open field. It's like, don't they know birds like cover and like being in a forest? Like, birds can be hunted very easily out in the open, so like birds do not like these sorts of environments. Or at least that's just my understanding of them. Maybe back then they had a different understanding. Or a lack thereof, may I suggest.
Birds begins this story. It is the story of how a small Illinois farming community came to be known...
Wow, hang on. So that sign actually said it. It said the Purple Martin Capital. That's so funny. What are these birds? Like, I have never heard of these before in my life. I gotta ask my mom about these. Not only is her last name Martin, but she grew up in Illinois partially, so maybe she does have an idea about these. I bet that would be like a blast from the past if I was able to remind her about this. Even if she does know about this, it probably hasn't like popped into her brain in like 50 years. So I'm gonna ask her about this next time I see her. Maybe later today.
Known as the Purple Martin Capital of the nation.
Purple Martin Capital of the nation, not the world, just the nation. There are other Purple Martin capitals out there. I'm curious now. I love how the speed limit signs look exactly like they still do today. Like nothing has changed about the speed limit signs. Besides maybe the speed limit themselves. Because going 35, let me tell you, I'm not going 35 on this road.
Drive into Griggsville and see for ourselves how this community solved their problem of mosquitoes.
Oh, interesting. Solve their problem of mosquitoes.
As we turn into Quincy Street, the main thoroughfare of...
Dude, hang on. Are these all birdhouses on everyone's yard? Does everyone have like one birdhouse on their yard for these birds? Oh my God, I gotta go to this town now. Like, this is so interesting. I'm so curious. Is this a real place? Like, this could all be a prank to me. Like, I have no way of telling if this is real or not. I like to believe it is, though.
Griggsville, we're greeted by a vista of shade trees and rows of gleaming green and white two-story Martin houses.
Yeah, they are just two-story Martin houses. That's so funny that everyone in this neighborhood just partakes in the Purple Martin tradition. That's crazy.
Looming ahead at the town square is the Empire State Building of the bird world.
You know, that is really true. That's so funny. I wonder if there even is a taller bird house tower out there nowadays. Like this is like the funniest thing I've ever seen in an American town. I love how the video I watched right before this was Your Town, USA, and now we're learning about another town that is just so different than your average American town. This is like, I love the juxtaposition here. This is like my sort of town, a town like built around an environmental concept, like the migration of purple martins. Like I really do appreciate that. I bet the people who live in Griggsville are like my sort of people for sure. And when I say that, I mean like hippies, kind of. I guess during this era, they would have been hippies. I don't know if I earned that label, but that's who I feel like connection with during this period is the hippies.
The Junior Chamber of Commerce.
Dang, when your hardware store could just be called Hardware. And your other store could just be called Roy's. It's not Roy's anything, it's just Roy's. I guess they have in the window cleaners, but the store is just called Roy's. What's so funny is this does look like Your Town, USA as well. Like this is pretty much the exact town we watched.
Commerce in Griggsville in the spring of '62 decided to investigate methods of controlling mosquitoes and other flying insect pests by the use of purple martins.
Hang on, so is that what this is really about? This is how one town uses their special bird migration to manage their mosquitoes. I love the silver lining of that all. Oh, what I really like about that actually is a few minutes ago I mentioned how people back then had this thought in their mind how nature was mainly an obstacle that they had to overcome. But nowadays, more people think of nature as this actual functional part of our world that provides services to us, like going on a hike allows us to clear our heads, or like rain provides us with clean water, you know, just these ideas that nature isn't this thing for us to fight against, it's actually this thing that provides us with everything we need to survive. And we can see from this program that people, at least here in Griggsville, Illinois, are beginning to have that kind of mindset too, that, oh, these birds are providing a service for us. These birds aren't just annoying birds, they're eating all the mosquitoes. Maybe we should actually be friends with the birds. You know, we're starting to actually see the roots of environmentalism taking hold in America right here. That's actually really special. I'm pretty proud of myself for figuring that out, but I'm really happy with that. I'm glad we're actually seeing the changing of the thought processes of some Americans, or at least some who partake in an amazing bird ritual here in Illinois.
AC's consulted Dr. T.E. Musselman, a nationally known specialist in migratory birds. And it was decided that aluminum would be ideal for martin homes.
Dude, just seeing all these birdhouses in the whole town, like, oh man, I gotta go here. Like, this gotta be such an interesting place. Or it's like the saddest place ever nowadays. That's kind of how like American towns go. Oh, is this a phone booth over here? That's so funny. They had a little payphone booth. I guess that's not that funny. It's just like, that's another thing that you won't see nowadays.
The houses would be weatherproof, lightweight, easy to install, and need no painting.
But again, what was like the specific environmental condition that drew the martins to this town? Like there must have been something before the birdhouses, right? Like the birdhouses are imitating something that existed here prior to man arriving here. So like, what was it? You know, that's what I'm curious about. I want to know the actual like natural explanation, not the human interaction with nature. But even though that's an interesting part, I'm more curious about the actual reasoning behind these birds' presence here.
After the initial expense, the mosquito abatement program in Griggsville would be self-sustaining with little or no additional costs.
The mosquito abatement program. I love how that's like the framework that we're viewing this bird migration through. This isn't like an amazing natural phenomenon. This is the mosquito abatement program. That's like, again, that's a very American thought process right there.
Some unique aspects.
Hang on, what is this? This is the Super Buy Supermarket? That's so funny that they would just have a goofy name for their supermarket, like their grocery store, right? The Super Buy Supermarket? That's funny.
Suggested by Dr. Musselman were hinge door panels to make the cleaning quick and easy, guardrails to keep the baby martins from falling from the porches, and telescoping steel mounting posts to further aid simple upkeep.
This is just so amazing that like this whole town just dedicates itself to like harboring these birds. That's like it's a little heartwarming. It's a little sad knowing that like whatever their original habitat was like has probably been destroyed because of this town, but like it's still cool that the people there recognize the birds, recognize their functional value to them, and have made an effort to continue to have the birds live here. That's just, it's very interesting. This is a very interesting story. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by what I'm learning now.
The big test came in the summer of 1964 at the West.
This is funny. This is a funny billboard right here. 6 big days and nights, Western Illinois Fair. Oh, what's so crazy? My mom might have been at that fair. You know, she was, I don't know. I think she was in America by this time, so she could have, like, obviously, I don't know if she went to fairs in Western Illinois. It's just like, that's what I love about these old programs. It's like, you know, the people that you knew could be here, could have been at this fair, you know? Like, oh, that's what's so amazing. I don't know. But that is like the creepiest clown, though. Like, it's so funny seeing clowns from the era that people weren't scared of clowns from, because nowadays, like, no one is gonna agree to put this clown on a billboard. Like, that's gonna creep everyone out too much. What's the point? What was the point in American cultural history that clowns went from being like funny, happy to scary, creepy? You know, it must have been like a movie or something, but like, I wonder.
4 at the Western Illinois Fair. Prize livestock on exhibit, cooking contests, and food concessions.
Dude, look at this fair. This is actually, I went to the New York State Fair a few years ago, and this looks more awesome than the modern New York State Fair.
Concessions for the hungry visitors brought swarms of flies, gnats, and mosquitoes to the fairgrounds.
Dude, I love how the framing device of this whole program is just the mosquitoes. Like, they're not even worried about the birds. It's just what the birds serve us through. Like, I guess that is the mentality that I was talking about earlier, though, that at least they are adopting that these birds can be useful. It's so funny for them to focus on the use more so than the spectacular natural phenomenon that they are. It's funny. I don't know.
And to the adjacent park. Previously, the Fair Association spent large sums of money for chemical pesticides in order to control the invasion of these insects.
Is that true? Would fairs just like douse an entire field with like DDT prior to a fair so that there would be no bugs? Like, I'm just curious. I don't know. Do fairs still do that nowadays? You know, like this is the one fair in like the entire country that doesn't need to use pesticides. It can just use the purple martin, I guess. But it's just like, was that standard practice back then? Is that still standard practice? I have to imagine it might be, because there is a lot of mud and sitting water in fairgrounds like this. So I don't know. That's something I've never really thought about before either.
But the use of these chemicals caused the food in the concessions and on exhibit to become contaminated.
Yeah, strange how you spray a field with poison and then everything in the field is poisoned all of a sudden. Strange how that works.
And racehorses put out to graze in the nearby fields became sick. So the Fair Commission decided to give the Purple Martins a chance to solve their problem.
See, that's so funny. This town is flooded with purple martins every year, and they are just now figuring out a use for them. Like, there's so much to be said about man's relationship with nature through this program. Like, I feel like I need a full day to unpack everything here, because there is so much in the environmental movement that we can learn about through this. It's just, there's a lot to unpack here for sure. It's so hard to do that, like, in a reaction format, you know? Like, if I sat down and I wrote a script around this, I could really provide you guys with some real good analysis. It's just like, I can't do that just in the moment, you know? I gotta keep going. We have to watch more. But like, I want you all to know that there is a fascinating analysis of man's relation to nature right here in front of us now.
12 aluminum martin houses were installed within the fairgrounds. Some were erected around the racetrack, others in the midway area. Several houses.
See, this is funny. They did not have a horse racing track at the fair that I went to. So again, more reason to say that this fair is better than the New York State Fair. Yeah, look for me in Syracuse at the next state fair, guys. You know what's funny is this is probably airing right around when the state fair in New York airs, because the state fair is like late August usually.
Houses were also installed in the adjacent park. By fair time, the homes were occupied. The Purple Martins began their work. The results were immediate and impressive.
Dude, are we actually going to get to see the purple martins up close? Like, I still don't even know what these birds really look like. Like, I know what they look like flying now, but like, what do they look like? What do their beaks look like? What color are they? You know, I don't know any of this stuff. I know he described them, but like, that's not good enough.
Usually, the heaviest concentration of insects occurred at the close of the fair. Hordes of flies and mosquitoes swarmed around the debris exposed to the...
That's so funny. It's just like, that is so American. Like, yeah, we're just throwing out all this crappy food. Now there's flies everywhere. Like, the only way that we can learn to appreciate this, like, amazing bird and its migration is through the lens of there's tons of flies all over the food that I just chucked on the ground. Like, that's so American. I don't know. It's almost too American.
Hot summer sun once the tents were removed. The birds living at the fairgrounds were joined by many other martins from Griggsville. They swooped over the infested areas of the grounds and within...
All right, hang on. So this is like the closest look we've gotten of these birds yet. And like, I don't know, are they purple? They kind of look purple, but the color of this film is kind of purple as well. So I don't know if they're actually purple or if that's just a visual illusion of the aged film. I don't know. But they look pretty interesting. They look like pretty good flyers. I mean, I guess they must be if they come from the Amazon. It's just like, what sort of birds even are these? What are they eating? I guess they're eating the bugs.
In 48 hours, the insects were gone. The martins had proved themselves.
So is that all they eat, though? They just eat plain mosquitoes? Like, why do they converge on this one spot if the foods that they eat are going to be found everywhere in North America? You know, like, they could come to my town and they'll find plenty of mosquitoes, let me tell you. So, like, I don't get it still. What is it about Griggsville, Illinois, you know? God, I'm so curious.
8 hours, the insects were gone. The martins had proved themselves. The $600 worth of chemicals to destroy...
Dang, I love that. I love how, like, that's the dollar value of these martins to these people. The $600 that the fair would have spent on pesticides was made up for by these birds. Like, this unique bird and its unique natural phenomenon migration from the Amazon to Griggsville, Illinois. The real value of them was the $600 pesticide bill that we got to avoid paying for. Like, that's the most American mindset possible. I love how it's not even like a lot of money. Like $600 back in the 60s, maybe that's twice the value. Maybe that's like $3,000 or something. That's still not a lot if you ask me to the intrinsic value of this special type of bird. It's just so funny, like the dollar value of these amazing birds. I don't know. It's just, yeah, very American.
Boy, insects were never needed again. On the outskirts of Griggsville, the Jaycees, in cooperation with the company making the martin houses, installed various types of martin homes to observe them and learn more of their likes and needs.
See, it's just so frustrating seeing these bird houses in an open field. It's like, don't you think that they would prefer a forest? Like, you don't need to put houses. You just need to return the land to the environment that was originally here. You know, it's just like, don't clear land just to build birdhouses on. Like, the non-cleared land is the birdhouse, you know? Like, it's so frustrating. But I guess that's what we're learning through this, right? Like, this is part of the process of mankind learning how to live in harmony with nature. Though, to be honest, I don't know if we've quite made it all the way to harmony with nature. We still live, you know, out of harmony with nature, but this is at least us learning one strategy towards that.
We want you to meet Mrs. Martin. Notice her light buff.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now we are getting a close-up shot. This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you, thank you. So they do look sort of purple, but again, I can't tell if that's the film or not. Dude, I'm going to look up a picture of these on the internet right now, just so that I know. Purple martin. Okay, so they are kind of purple. Wow, these are actually like beautiful birds. What the film doesn't communicate is that the top purple feathers are also like a little iridescent. Wow, these are beautiful birds. Wow. Okay, good. I'm glad I looked these up actually, because this, This does not communicate how beautiful these birds actually are. You guys look up for yourselves right now what a purple martin actually looks like, just so that you can understand what I looked up too. Like, they're iridescent. These are like beautiful birds. It's actually a shame that we can't see how beautiful these birds are through this film. Like, you can sort of see the iridescence of their feathers up top, but without color, like, it's really lost. Like, you guys would benefit from looking these up on Google real quick.
Colored breast. She's almost constantly on the go, gathering insects to feed her young. Now meet Mr. Martin. Isn't he a handsome fellow? Shining blue-black.
Yeah, shining blue-black. It's sort of like a purple, but blue-black too. Yeah, that's a good word for it, or that's a good description of their color.
A good provider and a fine father.
But they are purplish. Like, again, like, look them up because they really are an interesting looking bird.
Junior Martin is just 1 month old, but he's already learning the facts of bird life.
I love how ugly all baby birds are. Like, without fail, there is no cute baby bird. Like, they're all really ugly. I appreciate their commitment to the bit.
Mother and Father Martin have urged him to try his wings, but he has to pause for several rest periods. Mealtime at the Martin household is pretty much an all-day affair. It takes a prodigious amount of food to raise 3 or 4 baby martins from hatching time to flying age. The food of the martin is always flying insects.
Okay, so the food of martins is flying insects. So it still just doesn't make sense that they all converge on this one town in Illinois. Like, I really hope there's some sort of explanation for that. If not, I'm going to look it up after this.
But the species will vary depending upon...
Somebody in the comments, that's what I need. Somebody in the comments, please explain to me what exactly it is about Griggsville, Illinois that attracts these purple martins. Because to me, it's a mystery still.
On what is readily available. There's no evidence that these birds are selective. If there are mosquitoes in the area, that is what they will eat.
So no evidence that they're selective. So there is nothing specific about the food in this area that attracts them to it. So that's just adding to the mystery rather than solving it.
Each adult martin gobbles down 2,000 or more of these pesky creatures every day.
Dang, is there like a marsh nearby? Is there like a huge wetland? Maybe it's the insects from the Great Lakes that they're feeding on.
Now here's a succulent tidbit for some lucky youngster.
Yeah, like, how are there that many flying insects in this one random part of the country? Like, I don't get it. I don't get why they all come here.
The feeding of the young is an endless task for the parent birds. They must make repeated forays into the air and return every...
Dude, I'm just trying to think about how the cameraman got this shot, because the camera is wobbling. And I have to remind myself that we are probably like 10 or 12 feet above the air unlike one of these, birdhouses. So I don't blame the camera for wobbling. I'm just trying to picture how they even got it. Did they set up like a ladder and they're just holding? That probably is what they did. They set up a ladder and somebody's on the ladder just holding the camera down at this thing. Like, that's the only way I can imagine getting this shot.
Every few seconds with beaks full of insects.
It's just like it's a top-down shot of a birdhouse, which is like 10 to 12 feet in the air. It's an impressive shot. We have to appreciate it.
In order to satisfy the tremendous appetites of the growing fledglings.
You also have to appreciate that there were multiple shots in that sequence. So that bird left, it found food, and it came back, and it left again, and it came back again. So whoever was filming these shots was just on that ladder the whole time, presumably. Like, the camera doesn't even move that much between those two shots. So they must have been staying perfectly still on this ladder all the way up in the air, holding their heavy film camera. So again, yeah, we have to appreciate that shot, just for the amount of work I imagine went into getting it.
Martins are extremely clean and tidy birds. Here we see Mother Martin picking up a waste sack and flying away to drop it in the field across the road.
A waste sack. Is that like a bird poop or is that something else? A waste sack. Are they putting it in trash bags or something? Like, I guess I don't really need that explained to me, but I am curious.
Mrs. Martin returns to relax on her front porch. The birds seem to love the swaying steel poles and prefer them to stationary wooden posts.
It's almost like a branch swaying in the wind, almost as if they actually like the natural habitat more. I love the personified explanations that humans come up with to justify the animal behavior, you know, like hanging out on her front porch. Like, birds don't really do that. Birds hang out on the branches near their nest, you know, I guess that's their front porch, but it's just like, it's not that they like their front porch, it's that they do that in nature anyway.
The purple martins even drink and bathe while on the wing. You'll not see them using a bird bath. These skilled flyers swoop in low over a pond or stream and dip their beaks into the water for tiny sips.
Wow, that is impressive. So that's kind of supporting my hypothesis that these birds come here for the Great Lakes or something related to the water. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I really wish this was one of those scenarios that I figured out before the narrator tells me, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I think I can't guess it. I don't even know if I'm going to learn it through this program at all, but like I'm so curious. Why do they come here? What's the purpose? Why?
If they wish to bathe, they simply lower their tail feathers and splash the water over their bodies.
That is crazy that they bathe while flying. Like, that's impressive. Again, it's so frustrating to see this field of houses where there's nothing but grass. Like, just let other stuff grow there. Like, oh my gosh. That's definitely an aspect of this era, though. Just like the perfectly mowed field with nothing else on it. Like, people just did not understand what was wrong with that back then.
Purple martins seldom light on tree limbs, but sometimes young birds tire.
They seldom land on tree limbs. Is that maybe because there are seldom tree limbs in the town of Griggsville, Illinois? You know, like all I've seen is just empty farm fields so far. So maybe that's why you don't see them landing in trees so often. It's just like these birds are from the Amazon. Like obviously they land on tree branches, you know?
The parents stay on a wire nearby to keep an eye out for cats or snakes.
It is funny that they do seem to prefer the wires, though. That is, like, funny when birds do prefer human-built environments. Like, I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm just saying that they would probably not mind trees as well.
The early American Indians made friends with the purple martin.
Dang, I love this American Indian setup. This is so, like, what a white person thinks an American Indian, like, home looks like. It's just one small teepee with, like, cave paintings on it, you know? Like, wow. I really hope this is like not a real native setup, because if this is like a true Native American teepee, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure this is like, yeah, like a white person's thought of what a teepee is.
Long ago. Some folks still try to attract the martin.
Yeah, no Native American person featured in that shot. Just a teepee in the woods somewhere. Very authentic. But yeah, I do imagine that the native people must have had like some sort of curiosity surrounding these birds as well. They must have had a story. I don't know what exact native group lived in this area of Illinois, but whatever group did, I have to imagine they had like a folk tale about these birds, like explaining where they come from, right? Like there's always those sorts of folk tales of where the birds come from or why they have their color or whatever. And I can only imagine the natives who lived here must have had a story explaining the purple martin. So I'm curious about that as well. If anyone can find a Native American story relaying the explanation for the purple martin, I would love to read that in the comments. Please, yes, please do my research for me.
Martins to their home by providing the same type of houses that the Indians first used.
Dang, that's so funny. So even the Native Americans also built artificial houses for the purple martin. That is so funny. And they built it out of squash or gourds. That makes a lot of sense. That's just like, that's so funny that the Native Americans came here. They were like, oh, there's a lot of these birds. Let's build them some houses. And then like white people came and they had the same thought and they did the same thing as well. That's like, oh, there's so much to be said about that.
Hollow gourds.
Yeah, hollowed gourds. That's so funny.
But man, discontent with simplicity, began building more elaborate houses.
Yeah, again, this is such an American thing too, to use your Purple Martin house to flex your own wealth, pretty much. You know, like people are saying, oh, this house isn't enough for my big property. I need a Purple Martin house that exemplifies my level of excessive wealth. And that's what we're seeing here. That's so funny. This is so many layers of Americanism right here for you guys.
Houses of wood. Some of these wooden houses are very intricately designed and quite large.
This literally looks like a Jain temple from India, like the amount of columns. I hope none of my Indian audience takes offense to that, but like this is kind of like a Jain temple, or at least the ones that I saw from Jain temples of India.
Large in size. However, these heavy, bulky homes were almost impossible to clean and keep repaired.
That's ironic too. Yeah, you would never be able to clean all the bird poop out from between these columns. That's funny.
As they became dingy and dirty, sparrows and starlings moved in.
I like that too. I guess that is cool that like they just built a bird home for any sort of bird that is willing to put up with all that bird shit.
Just imagine what a crew of men and equipment were needed to get that big wooden martin house on that tower.
Again, this is so fascinating how there are so many martin houses all over this town. I'm so fascinated by this place now. I'm so glad I got to learn about this. I can't believe I've never heard about this place before though. That's the sad part, is that like this is so cool and no one has ever heard of it here in America. I am willing to bet that 99.9% of the audience right now has never heard of the Purple Martin or Griggsville, Illinois. I guarantee you there are people from Illinois who've never heard of Griggsville, Illinois before.
Imagine, too, the chore of cleaning the old nests out of this
Dang, look at this small house with this like Purple Martin mansion. Like that's what's so funny is people are using these houses to flex like their non-existent wealth. That's like that is even more American than flexing your existent wealth.
Elaborate bird mansion. And
I love how they described it as a bird mansion as well. I literally just used that phrase a second ago. I guess to these people, in their minds, they might be saying the more Purple Martins I have, the fewer mosquitoes I'll have near me. That's a very funny, like, I don't know, relationship that these people are probably actively trying to take advantage of with these mansions. It's probably not just, oh, I want a bunch of Purple Martins. It's probably more, oh, I really hate mosquitoes. Let me build a Purple Martin home even bigger, you know?
Here's what happens to a wooden martin house. It hasn't seen a martin family in many years.
Just an abandoned bird house, you know? Like, it's not even an abandoned house. It's an abandoned bird house. That's funny.
In Greencastle, Pennsylvania, martins returned year after year to nest in houses on utility poles.
Greencastle, Pennsylvania. So that's interesting. So although Griggsville is the Purple Martin capital, I guess there are other places in the same area that receive Purple Martins as well. That's interesting. I'm glad they mentioned that because I was really just having trouble figuring out how these birds go to this one town only. So I'm glad I know they also go to other places as well.
In the spring of 1965, the people of Greencastle painted these houses. When the Purple Martins arrived, they investigated their longtime summer homes, found them newly painted, and would not move in.
That is funny. That's funny how there are multiple towns across America that partake in building houses for these birds, like in their public spaces like this. Like I've never seen birdhouses on a main street like this, but I guess I don't live in a town where Purple Martins visit.
Sparrows and starlings now occupy what were once homes for martins.
That's so funny that they wouldn't go in because they were painted, though. I wonder if it was like the smell that was throwing them off or if it was the visual change.
In the early autumn, the Purple Martins wing their way south. Then it is the job of the Jaycees to clean out the martin houses. It is a simple matter for this resident of the Purple Martin capital. He quickly opens the hinged door and sweeps the nests out of the compartment.
Dang, he's cleaning that out with his bare hands. Like this house full of bird shit. He's just going in there raw. Like that's crazy. don't do it. Oh my god, it's so nasty. I can only imagine. I wonder what it smells like. I bet I know what it smells like is the sad thing.
Snaps the winter door stops into the openings and then closes the door.
That's so funny that it's not even a simple process. You know, you have to clean it, you have to lower it down, you have to put the winter store stops so that other birds don't take up residency in these houses. Like, this actually seems like an amount of work, a non-zero amount of work for these people. And it's so interesting that they still do it because of the benefit of not having mosquitoes, I guess.
It's easily raised or lowered to a handy height.
Yeah, they literally raise and lower it. That's what I was saying a minute ago with, like, they needed a ladder for those shots. Like, these birdhouses are up pretty high. I guess they could have lowered it for that shot as well, but they still would have needed a ladder.
This Martin Summer Resort is now closed for the winter.
I'm so curious about this town. Like, do they still have birdhouses like this everywhere? They must, right? Oh, man, I gotta go here.
This is probably the very ultimate in Martin House convenience.
This is just so, I can't get over the fact that it's just like this one town where all these people do it. It's so American, but it's so weird at the same time.
This 36-family Martin dwelling can be raised or lowered by anyone. Here's a handy mounting arrangement for the smaller Martin home. A 3-section steel pole that lowers the Martin house to a convenient level and raises it to a height of 11 feet.
11 feet, that's so funny because I was saying 10 to 12 feet, so I'm proud of myself. That's a pat on the back, to be honest.
Before we leave Griggsville, the Purple Martin capital, let us consider this impressive fact. The 3,000 Purple Martins that visit here during the summer.
Dang, only 3,000? See, I was thinking like tens of thousands, but I guess only 3,000 birds is enough to make it like a special event here. That's crazy.
Rid this community of over 650 million mosquitoes.
650 million mosquitoes? I mean, I guess they have to eat a lot, but like, that is a big number. Yeah, well, you know, pat on the back, that's a big number. 650 million is a big number. That's what you guys learned today, right?
In the course of the summer. They did it for Griggsville. Why not let them do it for you?
That's an interesting final statement, is like, why don't we invite these birds into all towns in America? I wonder if there was an attempt to do that, to build these birdhouses in towns that weren't visited by purple martins in the hope that they could attract new populations so that they could rid themselves of mosquitoes as well. I wonder, because it seems like they're suggesting that, right? It seems like somebody has that idea already. So I'm curious if they followed through with that idea or not. Produced by the Griggsville Wild Bird Society. For further information about the purple martins, write the Griggsville Wild Bird Society, Griggsville, Illinois. It's so funny that they say write the Griggsville, not write to the Griggsville. Also, they don't give us like an address or anything, but whatever. I'm just going to put a letter saying Griggsville Wild Bird Society, Griggsville, Illinois, and hope it gets to them. Can one of you guys send them a letter? Can you write to them asking them all these questions that I have? Like, what makes Griggsville so important? I'm not going to, but like, they're asking us to, so somebody do that. I wonder if in the entire history of this program, anyone has ever actually written to the Griggsville Wild Bird Society because of this right here. I wonder. Okay, hang on. Further information on the trio Musselman Martin houses shown in this film may be obtained from your local department or hardware store, from your lawn and garden dealer, or from Trio Manufacturing Company, Griggsville, Illinois. That's funny. This is like, if you want to buy one of these birdhouses. Can somebody also follow up on this as well? I know I'm giving you guys a lot of homework, but like, I know I'm giving you guys a lot of homework, but I want to figure out about these houses. Can I buy one? Can I like have one in my house? Like, I think that would be cool, especially if I eventually attracted one. That would be really cool, actually. So yeah, somebody figure out about this as well. Somebody look up the trio Musselman Martin houses. Tell me I wonder what the prices are on them too. I think that's it though. I think that's it, right? We're not, yeah, that's the end of the program. All right, so what a lovely little program we watched today. I am so pleasantly surprised by that because that was just so interesting. I feel like I learned about a town in America. I learned about nature. I learned about like bird migration. This had it all really. This really was a perfect green. This really was a pleasant surprise. There's just no other way to put it. You know, what makes it a pleasant surprise is that it was a pleasant surprise. You know, the fact that I've never heard about the purple martin before, even though I'm from like this part of the country, you know, like that's what makes it so enjoyable to me, is that I did truly learn about something that is near to me. That's why I had so much fun watching this. It's just, I love knowing more about the place that I live. And the fact that I learned about it from something like this is just so incredible to me. I really got to ask my mom about this now. Yeah, and maybe my favorite part was just getting to see mankind on his journey towards environmentalism, right? Like this is seemingly like an important step for some people to see natural phenomenon and to associate that with like dollar values for us, right? Like I know that sounds a little crude, but like at least here in America, like that is how you convince people to protect nature, is to convince them that there's some dollar value behind the continued existence of nature. That is like so important and so interesting that we got to see that sort of ideology arising in America naturally through the migration of the purple martin. That is like a very special. I'm very happy with this. This is a very good video. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I hope you guys did too as well. And if you did and you would like to help support this channel and what I do here, you can follow the link in the description that'll take you over to the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is where I get all these old programs from. So if you want to support me, donate to them. And with that, I think we are ready to cut to black.